welcome to CNBC TV 18's Tech Toys. My name is Megha Vishwanath, and chip maker Qualcomm has decided to host its annual tech summit in Hawaii this year, and I'm here to bring you all the action. Years of Snapdragon. What has the past decade been like? Take us over this 10-year-long journey.
First Snapdragon started when we broke the barrier of 1 gigahertz in a CPU speed in a mobile device. From there has been a series of innovation with 1 or 2 flagship launches every year for 10 years, from multi-core to, faster speeds on 3G to the very first 5G, and breaking the barrier of 1 gigabit speeds in mobile. So we're very excited about the platform, but we believe the best days of the platform are probably going to be within the next 10 years.
120 handsets or flagships that have Snapdragon 835 on it. Some of them are out there, some of them are still in the works. What does it mean for Qualcomm to work with so many different OEMs across different price categories, different makes? How does the business model work for Qualcomm?
This is actually the essence of the Qualcomm business model. It's a lot of discussions, I think, over the years with the Qualcomm business model. The Qualcomm business model is about one company investing in R&D and sharing with many other companies. And I think it's one of the beauties of the Snapdragon platform is not only we could do the R&D of every new innovation in the phone space, but also the innovation in consumer electronics, and enable a number of OEMs at the same time to bring their products to market.
Another interesting thing that you mentioned briefly was about 5G. And one of the numbers that we've so far heard is the magic number 2020. Every time someone says 5G, one thing that we hear is 2020. That's the year when 5G would be reality. What Qualcomm said today was that 2019, in fact, first half 2019 is when we will get to see 5G. So that's way sooner than what the industry has been estimating so far. How did this process get accelerated, and what makes Qualcomm bet on 2019 as the year of turning 5G into reality?
Yes. Back in the beginning of 2017, Qualcomm, starting together with a combination of 5 companies, companies such as AT&T, Vodafone, Qualcomm, SK Telecom, NTT Docomo in Japan. Right. We got together with the goal of accelerating 5G by 1 year. Then around the Mobile World Congress timeframe, 2017, we got the support of 40 other leaders in the industry across infrastructure vendor, operators, device OEMs. Very soon, any day now, we'll be able to conclude the global standardization in this year of 5G. And with the standard ready, we are going to continue the development that we started this year. We'll have our technology ready by the end of 2018 in fully interoperability with many of our partners, and you're going to be ready to buy a device in many markets, at least markets such as Europe, the United States, Korea, Australia, and likely China. You'll be able to buy a device in the first half of 2019.
So you're saying that 5G would be not just theory but a reality by 2019, but it's also going to be available in so many countries. Now, speaking of India, right, we back home are still struggling to get proper 3G and 4G. So for us, 5G right now sounds like an extremely ambitious target. Is there a possibility for India to accelerate and upgrade to 5G by 2019 as well?
It's a great question, and I think it's a great segue for a comment I want to make. If you look at the efforts that's happened in India right now with 4G,
yes,
and I think we saw, what Jio was able to do. We have in partnership with Qualcomm, I think there has been one of the fastest, deployments of 4G technology, and it's such a vast coverage, and it's changing dramatically the mobile industry in India. Sure. One belief of many countries is the transformation of 4G in the smartphone that has been very profound. It's going to be even more profound with 5G because of the percentage of the digital economy as it relates to a country's GDP.
Right.
So many countries see 5G as actually a necessity to maintain the competitive of the industry, competitive of the companies. So there are, of course, challenges. There are usual challenges of having availability of spectrum and infrastructure. But I would believe a country like India, which is in a very fast-paced economic development, looking of the benefits of that 4G infrastructure deployment, there's no reason why India cannot accelerate 5G and basically build on top on this 4G investment.
So far we've been talking, or the government and the operators have been stating 2020 as the number. Is India ready for 5G, or is it possible for us to experience 5G by 2019?
It is a possibility. It depends on the operators and the government commitments to infrastructure and spectrum, but if that's what India wants, we'll be ready for it.
At Qualcomm Snapdragon Summit, the chipmaker finally unveiled details of its years-long project with Microsoft to create a PC that looks like a regular laptop or a computer, but works like a high-end smartphone.
What do we mean by that? Well, they support LTE connections, the battery would last you up to 20 hours on a single charge, they boot instantly, and most importantly, they are powered by Qualcomm's Snapdragon 835 processor, the same processor that found its place in most top-of-the-line 2017 flagship smartphones. But all this is not just theory anymore. ASUS and HP are first of many to ride on this always-connected PC wave. ASUS's Nova Go here might look like a regular everyday laptop, but it runs on Snapdragon 835 processor along with Microsoft Windows 10s. Under the hood sits a 4GB or 8GB of RAM coupled with a 64GB or 128GB of internal storage depending on your pick. ASUS also claims to support a 30-hour resting and 22 hours of active battery life. Impressed? There's more. Meet HP's Envy X2 that is super light, and the makers claim that it will last you up to 20 hours on a single charge. The spec sheet reads 8GB of RAM, up to 256GB of internal storage, and it sports a 12.3-inch display, and this will be available for sale by spring 2018.
So clearly the line between what each device is supposed to do, be it smartphones, laptops or tablets, it's blurring, or at least that's the hope for the future. At this summit, Qualcomm also unveiled its brand new chipset, the Snapdragon 845, which will show up in smartphones and laptops early next year. And here's everything that you need to know about this brand new chipset.
Introducing the Snapdragon 845 mobile platform.
What's in a chip, you ask? Well, to put it simply, Snapdragon 845 smartphones will perform better by being almost 25% smarter and 30% more power efficient. That translates to better battery life. Snapdragon 845 goes another step forward into the AI age with faster processing than its predecessor, Snapdragon 835. Qualcomm also claims to pack in a new secure processing unit that can be used for protecting data on the phone, biometric authentication, and for making mobile payments. There's more. Snapdragon 845 promises better camera performance with improved color depths and wider gamuts. Qualcomm is calling it Ultra HD Premium. Now, rumors suggest that one of the first smartphones to ship this chip could be the Samsung Galaxy S9.
Now, the 800 series, which is the top-of-the-line chipset, packs in all these amazing features where it's better security, AI, better camera. Think about it and it's there. Speaking specifically about India, the more popular or the more saturated segment in India is but obviously the budget smartphone segment, which has typically seen so far at least the 400 or in some cases the 600 series of chipsets. So how do you then pack in like some of these better technologies for lower end smartphones so that users, which is by the way the majority in a country like India, get to experience what Qualcomm has to offer?
Yes, absolutely. So as I mentioned before, every year we introduce a new flagship.
Yes.
And we do that on a very regular cadence. And then what we do is during the year, we take some of the technologies, a subset of the technologies from our new 800, and move them into the 600 tier, the 400 tier, and the 200 tier. So some of the technologies will waterfall down. Some will stay exclusive to the premium tier. For example, the very best graphics performance, the very best gaming performance, the very best ability to have a immersive or virtual or augmented reality experience will probably stay in the 800 tier.
Okay.
But some of the advances in camera, some of the advances in video and so forth, some of the advances in power, we're able to move down to the less expensive tiers. And so it is true that even a user who buys a new Snapdragon 6 or 400 in the next year is going to take advantage of some of those technologies.
All right, so now you've been working on the Snapdragon 845, which was revealed at the summit. Hopefully, we're going to see that across all flagship smartphones, or at least that's the hope, you know, in 2018.
Yes.
What else is on offer, or what's you know, in the pipelines for Qualcomm now? You've entered the PC space.
Yes.
You've launched your chipset already.
Yes.
What do the next 12 months look for you like?
Well, I think in smartphones, you're right. We expect a lot of success with smartphones. We're just entering the PC market, so that'll also take off over time. We also see an opportunity for dedicated augmented and virtual reality devices. And so they had a lot of hype maybe a few years ago.
Yeah.
Some of that hype has died down, but we think there's some compelling new designs coming out in 2018. And as we look ahead, we think that's going to be a form factor that eventually does take off and offer a very great user experience.
Can you speak to us a little more about the new form factor? Because what you said about virtual reality or augmented reality dying down was essentially the design, you know, walking around with a headset.
Yes.
It's gimmicky, it's fun for the first 15 minutes.
That's right.
And then you get over it, right?
That's right.
So when you talk about a new form factor, which we will get to see in 2018, what do you mean by that?
Yes. So, you know, one of the ways to experience virtual reality today is you can buy a visor, a display, if you will, and you just drop your smartphone in,
True.
right? But there's a lot of limitations of your smartphone just being slotted in. It doesn't have the right cameras, it doesn't have a flexible display, it doesn't have the right type of display. And so what you need is virtual and augmented reality devices that are made specifically for that purpose. And that's what we believe we'll see in 2018.
Okay.
And then over time, as there's new materials, new displays, as we introduce new chips, the battery life will continue to improve. The devices will keep getting smaller and lighter until they
And
look
something
like the
that
glasses
looks-
that you
yes.
have today.
Yes.
And then you'll have the glasses that you have today where you see the world around you, but you can also augment the real world with the virtual world using information from the cloud.
So are we trying to say that Google actually might have got it right 8 years back with the Google Glass, because that didn't go? I mean, it didn't see the light of the day, but that was something that they got right. The fact that it has to be something that is easily wearable. It's not something that's very intrusive.
Yes.
But we're coming back or circling back to it in 2018.
Yes, I think, you know, you walk around today and you see a lot of individuals staring at their phone for maps or to get additional information. But this phone is just a very small window,
Yeah.
right? And you can see the world around your phone. But if you take that small window and put it around your eyes and you can augment what you see in the real world with additional information, it's a very compelling experience. The issue is the technology just isn't there yet. We're going to see leaps with the Snapdragon 845 in 2018.
All right.
And then there'll be more leaps in the years to come.
That's it on this year-ender special of CNBC TV 18's Tech Toys. We couldn't have thought of a better way to wrap up 2017. I will see you next year with sleeker gadgets, smarter devices, and hopefully at a time when all these future technology trends will be our present. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in 2018.